Hello everyone, and welcome to PineBot tutorial number 6, where I'm going to show you how to set up a stop loss and a take profit. Okay, so as usual, we are building on our script from the last tutorial number 5. Okay, so if you haven't watched tutorial number 5, you should go back and do that. All right, now this video is probably going to be a bit longer than the others because our script, it's starting to get a little bit bulkier, and I want to go through it a little bit slower to make sure that you understand what's going on. Okay, so looking at what we've got here, so as usual, we're on TradingView, and we're still using this SSL band, okay? And previously, we modified our script to wait for a pullback to this SMA high. All right, so you can see here, we get our pullback and we enter into the long trade. Okay, now in this script, we've updated it to include a stop loss. All right, so let's go into our settings, and you can see I have added, so before we just had these 3, we had the SSL length, start date, end date. Okay, now I've added these 6 new variables we can play with, which are for the stop losses and the take profits. Okay, so for the beginning here, let's focus on the stop losses. All right, so for both the longs and the shorts, I've set the stop loss to 4%. All right, and we can look at that in the Pine editor. Okay, so let's move this up. So at the top of our script here, we've got our inputs, all right? And for our inputs, I have added these 3 blocks here. So we have the stop loss percent, we have the take profit percent, all right? So within the stop loss percent, we've got the long stop percent, short stop percent, and this is our input box, all right? Our input box from, if we come up here to the settings, okay? So the default I've set to 4, all right? Now, so you'll notice on our strategy here, we actually do hit our stop loss. Okay, so we enter the trade, and then 2 candles later, price drops, and the stop loss triggers right here. So this should be a 4% loss. All right. Now, let's go look at our code for that. So if we scroll down, oh, another thing, like I said, our script is getting a little bit bulky. All right, so I've added little notes. You can see like for our entry flag, which we added in a previous tutorial, I've kind of added some explanations. All right, so the entry flag at the crossover, this sets a flag to restrict when, where we can enter a trade. All right, that was from tutorial 5. Okay, so I've just added little notes to hopefully help you understand this script a little bit better. All right, but what have I added to this script? So let's go all the way down. Okay. In the previous script, we added the cancels. All right, so the previous script was telling you how to send a cancel order to PineBot. So that's this block here, which I'm moving through with the cursor. All right, for this script, we've added the stop loss here. So let's put the stop loss at the top. All right, so let's focus on the stop loss for now. Okay, so the first thing we've done is I've created this variable called long stop price. All right, and what it's doing is it's calculating the actual price at which we're going to exit if our stop loss is hit. So for that, we're using the input we use, so the long stop percent. So we set this to 4. All right, so we're taking our strategy.position average price times our percentage. Okay, so this is going to give us a percentage of our entry price, and then we're subtracting that from our entry price. Okay, so that's going to basically give us the long stop price will be 4% lower than our entry price. Okay, so that's for the long stop price. Now, here is our actual stop loss, the strategy.exit. Okay, so our condition is if strategy.position size is greater than 0, all right, then we want to exit if we hit our stop price here. So we're putting in this variable, the long stop price, right? So basically, if it hits our stop loss, then this will execute. Okay, and what does this mean? The if strategy dot position underscore size is greater than 0. That just means we're in a long. All right, so if we're in a long and we hit our stop price, then we exit. Okay, so that's it. That's what we're seeing up here. So it has hit our stop loss and we exit. Okay, now as far as the short stop loss, it's essentially the same, but the reverse. Okay, so we've set up the short stop loss in this block here. All right, so that explains the stop loss. Let's go ahead and how do we automate that? All right, so same as usual, in our alert message, we need to put in our JSON message from our JSON builder. Okay, so let's do that. We're going to go into PineBot and we're going to build a message for the stop loss. Okay, so if we go to PineBot, go into JSON builder, and as before, we've got to fill this out. All right, so starting with symbol category, just select one. Exchange. I think last tutorial we switched it, but it doesn't matter. We'll go with Binance this time and put in account name. We'll just say subs 1. Put in your API key. Okay, API secret. All right, Binance does not require a password, so just skip that. Bot type, we're still working with the simple. Leverage type is populated. Leverage is automatically 1. Side, okay, so this is a long. Action, it's going to be an exit. All right, so for a stop loss, you're going to use exit. Amount, now the stop loss is going to do a full exit. All right, so to close the entire position, you want to put 100, meaning 100% exit. Order type, now as I told you before, when we're exiting a trade, I typically do a market order to guarantee that we exit. Okay, and that's it. So you're just doing a full exit. Okay, so we're going to copy our JSON, go back to our script, find your long stop loss, so strategy.exit, and delete JSON. Control V to paste, and that is it. Okay, now let's do the short stop loss. So delete JSON. Let's go build our message. So we're just going to change our, down here, we're going to change our order. So side is going to be short. Action is going to be exit. We're doing a full exit, so 100. Order type, market. Copy. TradingView. And we're going to paste that in. Control V. Okay. So that's it. That is the stop loss set up and automated. All right. Now I should note that there's 1,000 different ways to set up a stop loss and also a take profit. And in this video, I'm just going through one way, which I've set up, the way I've set it up. But of course, every user is going to have their own way of setting up stop loss and take profit. Okay, so that's the stop loss. Let's go to the take profit, which is a little bit more complicated than the take profit is a little bit more complicated than setting up our stop loss, at least the way I've done it. Okay, so the first thing I've done here is I've defined some variables. All right, we have this LTP1, which means long take profit 1, LTP2, which is long take profit 2, STP1, STP2, which are the short take profits. Okay, so we're defining 2 take profits here, 2 for the long and 2 for the short. Okay, then I've got these other variables which I've defined, which are basically telling PineScript if the take profits are activated or not. Okay, so we have LTP1 active, and initially we're setting them to false, right? So we're saying they are not active. Okay, and you'll see why I've got this active variable when we get further into our code here. Okay, so next, all this red here that you see, these two blocks, this is defining the actual take profit price. Okay, so here we can see, so this is actually the same conditions that we used. If we scroll up in our script, in the last tutorial, we defined the cancels, all right? And we had this condition here, okay? So for these cancels, we had this condition, okay? The strategy.position size greater than 0 and strategy.position size with our bracket 1 is less than 0, all right? We're using the exact same condition here for our take profit. Now, what does this condition mean? This condition means, okay, we're in a long trade on the current bar, but the previous bar, we were not in a long trade. All right, so it's saying we've just entered the trade, okay? We've just entered the long trade, and when that happens, so when we enter the long trade, we're going to change our LTP1 to our take profit price. All right, so if you recall, the LTP1, we defined it here, but we initially set it to NA, all right, not available, or whatever NA means. But here, we're finally going, when this condition triggers, so when we go into our long trade, we're going to define it, okay? And how are we defining it? Well, we're using our variable, the long profit %1, all right, long profit %1, which is up here in the settings. Okay, so we've defined long take profit 1 at 25%. So we're gonna take our first profit at a 25% gain, and then we're gonna take the second profit at a 50% gain. Okay. So long profit %1, this is set to 25, and so we're basically calculating 25% of our entry price, and then we're adding that to our entry price, right? So this LTP1 is going to be set, it's going to be 25% greater than our entry price. All right, and similarly, LTP2 is set for 50% greater than our entry price. Now, the next thing that we're doing is when this triggers, we're activating these take profits, right? So LTP1 active, we're setting it to true, so we're activating them, all right? Okay. Now, that's for the longs. As usual, here are the shorts, which are basically, again, it's the reverse of what we've done with the long, okay? So we'll skip the short for now. Again, it's just the reverse of the long, okay? And let's go into our actual take profit, the execution of the take profit. So here we have, for our long take profit, now I've put a little note here. So what we're going to do is at take profit 1, we're going to close 25% of our position. And at the take profit 2, we're also going to close 25% of the position, which leaves behind 50%, okay? So the final 50%, we're just going to let that ride, all right, until it naturally closes, okay? So if you remember, we always close our position. So for a long, in fact, let's go and look at, if we go and look at it, we can see what's going to happen here. So let's find where this actually hits. Okay, so here you can see we enter a long here, all right? And then price goes up, and you can see here we hit the first take profit, and then here we hit the second take profit. All right, so here we close 25% of our position, then we close another 25%, all right? And then we just let it ride until it naturally closes, which is here. So when we cross back below our band, then we close off the remaining 50%, okay? So that's how that works. Now, if we go back to our code, how have we set PineScript up? All right, for now, we're working on setting PineScript up to do that. So here we have, if the strategy.position size is greater than 0, all right, so we're in a long, and the close is greater than our take profit price, okay, and the take profit is activated, so it's set to true, then we take the profit. All right, now let's look at exactly where this triggers. So this actually triggers at the candle close, okay? So it's possible that, you know, let's zoom in again. So we've set it, so it's possible that 25% gain was actually maybe here or here or here, somewhere inside of this bar, but it's only going to trigger at the close, all right? So this take profit might actually occur slightly higher than 25% gain, all right? It all depends on where it actually closes, okay? But it's going to fire when this candle closes, which it could be at 30% gain or even 35% gain. It just depends on where this closes, okay? Now, how are we setting up our strategy.close for that take profit 1? Okay, so we're saying strategy close, we're closing the long, and we're telling it to close a percentage. So we're setting this QTY underscore percent. We're telling it to close 25% of the position. All right. Now, let's look at take profit 2. And this is where it gets a little bit confusing. So if you recall, I said, okay, the take profit 1 is going to close 25%, and the take profit 2 is going to close 25%. But if we look at this line here, this is our take profit 2, okay? If you'll notice, I've set the quantity percent to 33.3%. Why have I done that? All right, and this is a confusion with TradingView, I think. The way TradingView does it is a little bit complicated. TradingView, if I say close 25%, like we've done here, it's going to close 25% of your current open position. All right. So just for example, let's say that we have 100 units of DOT. All right. We're on a DOT chart. So let's say we have 100 units of DOT. Okay. So this is going to close down 25% of 100. All right. So after this executes, we only have 75 left. Okay. 75. So if I want to close 25% more, well, TradingView is going to calculate it based on us having 75 units left, right? So if I want to close a further 25%, we've actually got to close 33% on the next one, all right? So 33.3% of 75 is 25. Okay, so when this second stop loss triggers, this is also going to close 25 units. Understand? It's a little bit confusing the way they do it. So they're basing this close on what is our current position size, which is 75 now. All right, so you need to keep that in mind when you're designing your PineScript. Okay. Now, how would we automate this? Okay, so for this, let's go build our JSON message to execute these take profits. Okay, so let's start with the take profit 1. All right, so let's go to the JSON builder. And these are for our long and action. So again, this is an exit, okay, because we're taking a profit. Now, PineBot works a little bit different from the way TradingView works. For PineBot, we're always going to put in the amount of the original position size, okay? So the first take profit, we're going to put 25, right? We're closing 25% of the position. For order type, I'm going to put limit, okay? Now, I know before I said that when I'm exiting, I always like to use a market order, okay? But for me, now you can use a market order, that's fine. But for me, for a take profit, I want to use a limit order, all right, for a take profit. I only want to use a market order for the final close, all right, just to ensure that that final close completely closes my position. But when I'm taking profits, I'm going to do a limit order. Okay, now, what is going to be our limit price? All right, now remember, for the limit price, we always want to use a variable, okay? So limit price variable. Now, if we go back really quick to TradingView, our take profit hits at the close of this green bar. All right, so at the close, and then it executes at the open. Okay, so I want to set the take profit at that close. Okay, so that's what I'm going to use as my variable, the close price. Okay, so you can see PineScript, the close is a variable. It's the price at when this candle closes. All right, so here I'm going to use the limit price as a close. Okay. Now, just a reminder, again, everyone's script is going to be different. This is just how I'm setting it up. All right, we're setting the limit price as that close price. And that's it. We're going to copy this and back to our script, and we're going to paste it. Okay. Next, we want to do the take profit too. All right, now, as I've explained, in TradingView, if you want to close a second 25%, you actually have to set this to 33.3, okay? Because we're basically, we're like at 75 units now, and we want to close 1/3 of that 75, okay? But for PineBot, that's not how it's going to work. PineBot is going to take 25% of your original position. Okay, so for PineBot, we're going to keep this at 25, all right? And nothing else changes here, okay? So we're going to use the exact same message, all right? We're going to close 25% at whatever the new closing price is, okay? So let's copy this and paste that in there again. All right. Now, how can we use the same variable? Well, again, this second take profit doesn't hit until later, okay? It doesn't hit until this candle, and on this candle, it's going to be an updated close, right? The close for this candle will be this close, not the first close over here from take profit 1, all right? So, like I said, we're just using the exact same message, okay? So that's it for the long take profits, okay? Now, before we do the short take profits, I want to explain something else here, which is you'll notice that so remember, one of our conditions for the take profits is, so first we have to close above our take profit price here, and then our take profit has to be activated, right? It has to be set to true, okay? Now, after this triggers, we set it to false. So why do we do that? The reason is because if we don't have this activation condition, what's going to happen is this line would trigger at each bar after that. See, the bar is meeting the condition here, 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 here. So this would trigger on each single bar, and it would constantly be taking this 25% profit, okay? It would just keep triggering this close every single bar that meets the condition. So what we have to do is we have to actually tell PineScript, all right, we've this fired one time, and now we deactivate it. So that's what we're doing in this line here, that LTP1 active. We're deactivating it after it triggers one time, okay? So that's why I've included this line here, all right? Now, let's go down to the shorts, okay? And I'm not going to explain any details on the short because, as usual, it's basically just the reverse of the long, okay? But let's go ahead and build our alert messages for it. So how would we do that? So alert message, let's go over to PineBot, and we're going to switch the side to short. Action is going to be exit. Amount, again, we're going to close 25% of the original position. Order type, we want limit again. Limit price is close. And copy that. let's go to our script. We're going to paste that in here. All right. And remember again, so the take profit 1, we take 25%. The take profit 2, we're also closing 25%. So we can use the exact same message. So we're not even going to go build it again. We just paste it again. All right. And that's it. And again, just one more time. I know this is a little confusing. The take profit 2, we have it set for 33%. But that's just how PineScript works. Okay. So just remember again, both of these blocks here, they're taking 25% of our original position size. Okay. So that's basically it. But let me clarify something else. Some people might be wondering, well, wait a minute, Scott, wait. Over here, so at this point, when we hit the take profit 2, we have closed 50% of our position, all right? And then we come over here, and when we close, how do we close it? Because we've already closed 50%. So how would you set up our original close? Well, you would leave that as closing 100%, okay? You don't want to change. So if you've closed 50% over here, you don't want to change your final close to 50%, like to close the final 50%, all right? And the reason for that is because, number one, these take profits may not have hit. And number two, PineBot will know, okay, if you put in 100% close, it doesn't matter if you closed some pieces of it before. PineBot just knows to finish off the full trade, all right? So you want to leave that final close as closing 100%, okay? Now, you actually could set it for 50%, and it would close that final 50%. But I wouldn't recommend that. I would always recommend, like if you have a whole bunch of take profits, you want to take 20%. So you could set PineBot to close. Like let's say you had 5 take profits and all of them were 20%, right? So in your alert messages, you could put 20%, 5 times, okay? And it would fully close the position, okay? But just to be safe, your final exit, I would always leave it as 100. You always want to end with closing 100%, all right? And that's just to guarantee that your position actually fully closes, okay? All right, so I think that explains the stop loss and the take profits, okay? If there's any questions, please write a comment. And as usual, I will put this strategy in the video description so you can go down and get this strategy. And that's all. So in the next tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can manually send alert messages to PineBot. Okay, so not through TradingView. So there may be situations where you want to manually close a trade or something like that, or just to experiment to learn, okay, how do these alert messages work? And so I'll show you how to manually enter trades, exit trades, cancel trades, etc. Okay, so that's it for now, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.